Okay.
It's 98.9 KPNW, and I'm very excited to have LiV Warfield with me right now. Thank you for going through all of this nonsense to get online with me. I'm
No
so
worries.
grateful.
No worries. No worries. I'm glad to be here talking to you. This is
Yeah.
great.
I'm excited because I fell in love with your new song, your new single from the record. And then I went back and listened to the first single, which I had not listened to before I heard the second track. Edge was the first track that you released, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep,
And that's the title track of the new album.
Yeah, it was called The Edge. Yep, it's called The Edge.
That's awesome. It's coming out, what, a week before you're going to be here?
Yes, September 15th. I know. Like, I've been so ready for this. I'm just really, truly excited because I put in a lot of work, and it's something I'm really proud. I'm very proud of it. I'm excited about it.
Is it 9 years since your last studio album?
9 years, and it's crazy.
Holy
9 years. That's crazy.
What took that long for you to release this new one?
With anybody or anything, really life. Me being an independent artist, it took me a minute. It also took me a minute to realize what my voice was after releasing The Unexpected, because it was successful in different ways, but I still think that I hadn't found my true voice, and it took me a minute, you know. In between that 9 years, I had a lot of amazing experiences working with amazing people, and I think maybe a little bit of that had something to do with me adding on to who I was and who I am as an artist, you know. So it took a minute. It was hard. Ooh, it was hard.
Well, I'll bet.
But I got here, and you know, I wasn't rushing. In the beginning, maybe I was, because I was like, oh my God, I gotta put another record out. The second year went by, the third year, the fourth year, and I honestly didn't think I was going to get to this point. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I was going to get here. I did not.
Wow. So when I went back and listened to that album, I was like, man, she can deliver the upbeat numbers, but those slow jams with all those horns, those songs, I mean, that's the stuff I want to listen to when I'm at home.
Okay.
Is those mellow, like, you know, I just, you handle that so well.
Thank you.
Just the smooth R&B thing.
Yes.
And then this new track, you just blow it out of the water. Do you know how good this sounds on the radio?
Okay. I'm super happy about that, because it was a really exciting track. Like Ryan Waters, my guitar player, he's also living in Seattle, from Seattle. His wife is Martyr Sauce, and we've been playing together for over 20 years. He brought me this song because I wanted to add it to the album. He was like, I have one for you. And then he said, it's a long title. He's like, maybe we'll take your picture. And I was like, okay. And then listening to the lyrics, I was like, oh yeah, Ryan. Like, once again, you've done it again. Like, Ryan is an incredible songwriter. And this one was fun. We wanted to take like a kind of like almost, we wanted it to be fun, but I also added horns at the end. So I wanted to take a tower of power approach to it.
Yes.
And you know, it's a commentary on the whole selfies, like everybody's taking pictures, but it's fun. But it's also why I fell in love with it was the lyrics, live your life, do your work, do it well. Maybe they'll take your picture. I'm like, yeah, you know, you see artists, the greats like James Brown and like your Sade's and your Tina Turner's, like that picture was like worthy, you know what I'm saying? And like mainstays. That's right. And so that's what it meant for me. So we have fun with it. We have fun playing it. Yeah.
LiV, that kind of brings me to my next question. When I was talking to Cynthia, she was mentioning that it's important to you that your first name is spelled right, because the I means less to you, or the I is not as important. So the L is capitalized, the V is capitalized, but the I is not. Explain that.
Because I feel like it's bigger than me. I take myself out of it, and everything else is, I feel like I'm a catalyst. I feel like I'm a vessel, because I surrender to the music. You know, my birth name is Olivia. People call me LiV, and that is my stage name. But I also just wanted this is bigger than me. I feel like I just surrender myself to it. So that's why I make sure I do that.
I love that. I love that. I mean, that speaks volumes. When she said that to me, I was like, this is going to be a good interview. I can't wait. I cannot wait for this. I mean, so I do want to talk also about, you're no newcomer to the Northwest. Your guitarist is from here.
Yeah.
You went to Portland State.
Yep. I went to Portland State on a
track scholarship. Holy, what did you run? Did you run or did...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was a heptathlete, so I did all 7 events. I was training for that, but life took a different calling.
We often find that out in college, right?
It was a different thing, because I thought for sure I was going to the Olympics. I mean, I had, I could have very well have done that, but I think it was something inside of me ever since I was younger that I always wanted to be a performer. It wasn't really not allowed in my house. I never sang in church. I never did anything like that, but performance and music was something I hid from my family. And I sang.
Really?
I hid that from, they didn't know until I moved to Portland. They were like, my mom came to the show. She was like, okay, so you never did this around us.
What?
Oh yeah, they were like,
growing up, you hid that?
Oh yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, for a long
just
time.
Just because that was not an acceptable thing in your family, or?
I think at the time, being a musician, it just wasn't. They were like, well, why, get a quote unquote a real job? You know what I mean? What is that?
Right, right.
I was studying for social work. I also.
What was your major?
Sociology.
Okay, cool.
I was a sociology major, so I definitely wanted to be a social worker at some point. But that just, it wasn't my calling until my teammate was like, "Have you heard of karaoke?"
I was like, look out.
Yeah. And
here comes the Whitney. I'll bet you can do a wicked I Will Always Love You.
Funny enough. That was my first song.
Was it really?
Yes, it was.
Oh my Lord.
Yes, it was. Yes, wow. It was. That's funny you say that.
I knew it. I knew it. Because you're the kind of person that would step out on that karaoke floor and just drop everybody on the
bless
floor. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm glad I called that.
Yeah, you called it for sure. You did. I'm really surprised. But yeah, that's my story. A little bit of my story, and that's really how I got started. Really, but I was also very much a writer. I love to write. That was something that I had always done, just because my mom was telling me to write in journals ever since I was 14.
Wow.
So, that helped a lot too. So.
When you so moving on to the other Northwest ties, before we even dig into the new power generation stuff, Nancy Wilson, you worked with Nancy Wilson and Members of Heart, and
yes,
we love them up here in the Northwest.
Yes, we do.
How did that all come about? I know because I read, but I'd love to hear it from you.
I had a chance to open up for Heart at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh my Lord.
And for me, I grew up with them in my ears. I was a gymnast for 14 years. So training to classic rock was like a thing for me. And Anne's voice, like, I just felt like there was a connection there hidden dormant in me that I could connect to. So when I had the chance to open up for them, at that time I was writing a song called Mantra. It's very rock. And I wanted to meet Nancy, either one of them after the show. And Nancy just so happened to be around. I ran after her. I was like, oh my God, thank you for letting me open. Would you be into like listen to a song that I wrote? And she's like, oh yeah, no problem. We'll talk. And
wow.
That ended up happening. And she's like, well, if you're ever in LA, you know how that goes. If you're ever in LA, why don't we meet up? And honestly, that transpired. We met up in LA.
It actually happened.
It happened.
Wow.
And we went from just talking to, oh my God, I like you. And do you want to do a band together? And would you think Ryan would want to come along? And we're just like kind of campfire sitting together in this group, like playing. And we're like, okay, this feels too good. Let's move these chairs back. Let's really get to rock it up in here, you know? And
Wow.
we did Road Case Royale, and that, like, Nancy came into my life, and that experience came into my life. It was right on time. My soul really needed it, you know? And Nancy was so important to me in that time of my life, just because as a woman in rock, she just, I don't know, the confidence that she gave me along the way. She really poured into me in that way. Like, you know, just do you, you know?
Yeah. Those women, I mean, I've got so much respect for them. And,
Yeah.
you know, before I even moved to the Northwest, I was a huge fan. So
Yes.
when I moved up here, I got to meet them and, you know, go hang out. And it was just, you know, it's weird to meet your idols.
Man.
It's weird to work with your idols, right?
Man. Well, the thing about her, though, I've just been really blessed. Their energy is really cool. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't have like any standoff-ish energy, just really open, you know. That's what
that's
I'm saying. Super supportive, you know. So
wow. That's great to hear.
mhm.
That's really cool to hear, especially because, you know, they've done other projects too. Clearly, I mean,
Absolutely.
they've done
Yes.
the Love Mongers, and they've got all kinds
Yes.
of different things that they've worked
Yes.
on, which I think is neat. They're Northwest legends.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so let's talk about the new power generation. And
Mm.
I have to ask you, I
Mhm.
know you toured with Prince for like 5 years. Did
Mm.
you play the Showbox with Prince here? He did 2 shows, 2013.
Yep.
Was that you?
Yes.
I was front and center for that show.
Yes. That was
That-
us. We were at that show because I've been, if that's 2013, I was with them since 2009
right.
up
I did
until,
the math and I thought for sure that it had to have been you then.
yes. Yep.
And it was
Mhm.
a stripped down show and it was very intimate, small. You know, the Showbox is only 1,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there were 2 or 3 shows and I was front and center. No
Yes.
cameras, no damn cameras anywhere to be
Oh, yeah.
seen.
None of that. None of that. Yeah. I think
How
it was, I don't know if we did an after show. I think I was at that show. It wasn't Third Eye Girl. Was it Third Eye Girl?
I don't remember. I don't
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
But I know that it was all women that backed him.
It probably was Third Eye Girl then.
Okay. So
I
that wouldn't have been you.
That wasn't me. I don't
Okay.
think so. I don't think
Okay.
so. Because
Okay.
if it was his rock band kind of, and it was just
It was. Yeah, it was a
yeah,
little more rock.
yeah, it's Third Eye. It was Third Eye Girl for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
How did your connection to Prince happen? You became a part of the new power generation. And that's a mind-blowing thing for me.
Yeah,
Like,
it was for me too.
yeah.
The background artist or singer that he had at the time, Marva King, I met her in Atlanta doing a gig. And she said that Prince was looking for another background vocalist. I said, ain't no way. Because I just wasn't seasoned. I don't think I had that skill. I was honored, but I was like, I'm not doing that. And then unbeknownst to me, they sent a video to him of me singing Gimme Shelter.
Of course
And,
they did.
and I didn't know. And then I got a call back, I think roughly 2 or 3 months later. I was somewhere, child, sitting in a beauty salon, getting a full weave in my hair. And they were like, Prince is going to call you from an unknown number. I get this random call and they're like, hello, is this Liv? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, okay, we work with Prince and he's going to call you from an unknown number. I'm thinking like, wait, what? Wait. Like somebody get me to a secured room. This is really not happening. And sure enough, wow. I get a call and he's like, I love your voice. I really like to meet you. You know, could you come to LA or could you come to Paisley Park? And I was like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then honestly, 2 weeks, I had to learn at least 40 songs, probably.
What?
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
In
Quick.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. I just had to be, I wanted to be ready, you know. I need to be prepared in every way. And I was.
So
And
wait a minute. You didn't need to learn them. You made yourself learn them. Is
oh
that it?
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
for
I
sure.
love you, Liv. I
Oh,
love
for
that.
sure. I was like,
You're
if
not
he's
messing
gonna call
around.
out Diamonds and Pearls, honey, I'm ready. If he's gonna call out, 1999, I'm ready. Shoot, I don't want to be caught out there and not
I
know this
love
man's
that.
music.
God, that probably showed. So when you went to the actual rehearsal, what was that like?
When I went to Paisley Park, it was him that opened up the door. It was him greeting me at the door, legit. And he knew I was like really nervous. And I was like, I don't want to touch anything. Just take me to the room where I gotta go, to sing for you, perform. And he was like, calm down. Have you did you eat yet? I was like, no. But he was like, before we do any singing, let's eat, let's talk, and that right there for me was like, okay, you want to know about me. Like, I appreciate that you want to know me.
Yeah.
And we talked and we walked into the, I think it was Studio A, where he had the piano and he just started to sit down and play. And my heart dropped, but in the greatest way, because it's just a wave that went over you because you just know this man was music is music, and I had to hurry up, snap out of it. And then I think it was me, Shelby J, and Marva. We started to record. I think we sang a Sly and the Family Stone song together, and then recorded a couple of other things right off the bat for Lotus Flower, which was the album that I was on.
Right off the bat, the first time you're in there?
Right off the bat.
Holy Mary.
I mean, it was like maybe one or two choruses or something like that. Just
yeah.
How we blend. And then after that, he was like, when can you come with us? When can you start? I was like, I got a show. I can't do it this week.
Wow.
But next week. And he was so cool. But I also knew, I didn't know what I was getting into. I kind of knew what I was getting into, but I didn't.
Tell me about that.
Because I was so green, I didn't know the expectancy of being on. This man in his world, you just have to be on all the time and you can't be scared. And I was shy. I'm still shy, but I was shy. I remember one time in LA, we were getting ready for the Nokia Theater performance and another Sly song we were doing. And I was just singing cute. I was just kind of singing light or whatever. He looked at Marva and Marva nudged me like, girl, you better sing, like, or your job is going to be gone. Because he gave her that look like, okay, I done hired her and she ain't even showing up. So I was like, okay, girl, you better put that vocal on turbo. So that turbo vocal came out because he walked away. And then he walked away in disappointment. And then I really sang. And he turned around and smiled and he was like,
nice.
Because basically he was like, I can come. I think did he tell me that? Like, I can bring somebody else up in here, which is true, know? And that's when I had to learn right off the bat that world. And like, he wasn't playing about his music. He was not playing. And I learned quickly. You had to learn fast. You had to think on your feet. So yeah, that, I think for me, that was the greatest gift that I was given. The greatest gift that I was given during that time with him, the greatest, because I learned so much.
I was going to say, it seems like you were out of your comfort zone, and that is where we learn, right? Like, when we're pushed outside of that.
Oh yeah. And that's a little bit partially why, like, the Edge, the song Edge was like, that's kind of the energy of why I wrote it, because he was pushing me, he was pulling me, he was, I sing the first verse twice, but I sang it pretty the first time. And the second time I really sang it. That's really the reason why I wrote that song, because, his energy was pulling me. It's like, it's pulling you, it's pulling me, it's taking me, it's getting me closer to love. Like, his music gave me closer to love. So that's what it meant for me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What would be something that you discovered about Prince that you didn't expect?
It's a great question. He had a super, I mean, because I grew up outside of it because I couldn't listen to his music like that. But man, he is funny as hell. And play too much, play games. He liked to play pranks and games and stuff like that with us. Because we see the mysterious side of him, and rightfully so. If you are in his world and in his camp, there's like a privacy and a respect level that we had for him, because I felt like this is a family environment. But when he wanted to play some games, honey, he played. And I loved to see that side of him. Because he always knew I was so focused and so serious.
Yeah,
so serious
I could see that. Yeah, he's probably messing with you any chance he could.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the time.
That's
and
good.
I just didn't think, like, seeing him, I was just like, oh yeah, he likes to play around.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
When you called your parents and said, hey, so I'm a part of Prince's new power generation, what do you think about that? How did your parents react to that?
Oh, they
had to love Prince, or were they not big music fans?
No, I mean, they were amazing music fans, but again, I grew up in a church. I couldn't listen to secular music.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
I couldn't listen to that kind of stuff growing up. There were certain things it was okay for me to listen to, but I couldn't. So I would kind of discover little bit of things on my own, but they were like, Prince, oh my God. I already probably know
way to the devil. Yeah. Man.
I already know my mom was like, oh child, like, what about my daughter? Like,
oh
we went
God.
from not knowing your voice to you quitting school because you wanted to be a singer. And oh my God, now you're singing with Power Generation with something.
I love this.
And I think they understood, and they started to see and understand the love I have for it.
Yeah.
They respected it. And like now I think they get it, even now. So it's still kind of questionable because they just want me to be okay. And I understand that, because being an independent artist, it's hard.
It's a struggle. Sure.
It's hard. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
LiV, when your album comes out, I've only heard 2 tracks so far. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get your manager to give me a link so I can listen to it, but she's very careful. I don't blame her one bit. What can we expect from the new record? Because the first 2 tracks, The Edge is like, that's a rock song. There's some big guitars in there. And I feel like, maybe they'll take your picture. It's just the funky track that I wanted. Tell me there's some of those slow jams on this record.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Definitely.
I love those. I love those.
My band, J-Mac, the bass player, and Marlon Patton, they just did an exceptional job. J-Mac on writing a couple of the songs, and Marlon as well, helping to produce. It's just it's honest. The album is honest. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, but it's also a melting pot, I think, of all the things that I've gathered thus far in my career right now. It's definitely some rock on there.
Okay. I can't wait to see it live. Honestly, I think it's going to be a party.
Yes, it is.
I can't wait. Yes, you were playing the Tractor September 20th. When was the last time you were in Seattle?
Probably I did something for with Ryan's wife at Martyr Sauce. That was maybe a couple years ago, but playing, it's been since the Tractor Tavern, actually.
Okay, good.
I've been back since then. Yeah.
Good. Well, we're getting behind it, and I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to see the performance.
Yes.
And thank you for getting on this live stream with me.
Absolutely. No, thank you for having me. Really, it's going to be a good time. And Shayna Shepherd.
Oh my God.
She's going to be on the show too. So you already know, like, that girl knows me.
Oh my God. she's so phenomenal, and she's such a good human being.
Yes,
Like
yes,
every time I see her, she's just full of love and energy,
yes,
and I love
yes,
that woman. So
yes,
I can't wait to
yes,
see both of you play
yes,
that
yes.
show.
Thank you.
Liv, thank you again for spending the time with me, and I will see you September 20th.
Yep, absolutely. Thank
All
you.
right, Liv, take care.